everyone. Welcome to math class here at North Country Community College for the fall 2020 semester. Today we're going to be showing you how to get your MyLab Math program set up correctly. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up internet. I strongly recommend you use Chrome or Firefox. It'll just work better with both Blackboard and the MyLab Math program. I personally use Google Chrome, so feel free to use that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to North Country Community College on Google. We're just trying to get to the NCCC.edu website. Once we've loaded up the website, we're going to want to scroll all the way to the bottom, because what we're looking for is this part right here that says Blackboard Learn. We want to get into our courses Blackboard. So I'll click that and load up the Blackboard. I'm already logged in. You might need to log in when you get here, but make sure that once you're in the Blackboard that you are going to your math course. So I'm going to use Math 100A, Elementary Algebra, as the example for this video. Just make sure that you click your class. For example, if you're pre-algebra, you want to click pre-algebra. If you were statistics, you'd want to click statistics. You should only have one math course, so click the one that you are enrolled in. So let's click 100A. Now it'll look a little different here. This is the instructor Blackboard, but let's click this button right here. Will let me enter the student preview. So here's what it'll look like for you. Notice there's a lot less options over here. What we're going to want to do is on the left side here, this is how you navigate the different Blackboard modules. We've got Homepage, MyLab Math, and Grades. Not a lot of options right now. There'll be more options opened up as we move forward during the semester, but you're going to want to click MyLab Math. So what we're going to do is we're going to click MyLab Math, and it should load up to a page with a few different options. It's going to say all assignments, course home, announcements, student help, browser check, support, diagnostics. What we're going to want to do is just go to home. We haven't created anything yet, so we want to go just to the starting base page. We want to go to the MyLab and Mastering course home. So we'll click that. It'll give you a license agreement. Feel free to read it if you so desire. It's a little long and very legalese, but it might have some useful information you want to know, and since you'll be agreeing to it, you want to make sure you know what you're agreeing to. So I'll accept because I already know what it says. And now here, we're going to be creating a Pearson account. If you already have a Pearson account using your North Country email, you log in here. If you have never created a Pearson account with your North Country email, log in here. Now, it's important that you use your North Country email for this program. Failure to use the North Country email could result in messages getting lost in between yourself and myself, or for grades not to be ported over properly, or things of that nature. And to attempt to avoid any of those situations arising in the middle of the semester, we can use our North Country email. So make sure when you're creating your account, you use the North Country email. So if you already have an account, you would know how this works because you've already used MyLab Math before, so you'd log in. So I'm going to continue onwards with creating a Pearson account as if I had never used one before. So I'll hit create an account. Now remember, use your MyLab Math email address. Use your North Country email address for the MyLab Math account. So for me, that would be mpainter@northcountry.edu. However, since I've already created an account with my North Country email, I'm just going to put some random numbers here just as a fake email address so we can move through this part of the website. Then username. Use your email address as a username or enter a different username. I recommend use your email address as your username. That way you don't have to remember two things. You already know your email address, so you only have to remember one thing. Password. It's going to have some password guidelines. We'll just pick something. We'll make this password 1, the most secure password in the world. So for our fake account here. Then you want to put your first name. Please use your name as the school has it on file. That way I know who's who. Don't put a nickname in because otherwise I won't know who's who. Then security question. You can pick a security question. I'll just pick what town was I born in, and we'll say Citiesville. We'll make one up. I agree to the terms and use in the privacy policy. Feel free to click these to load up the terms of use in the privacy policy if you want to read those before you agree to them. One of these applies to me. Now, it's important that one of these applies to you. I'm sure one of them will, because either I am enrolled in middle or high school in the United States, I am under the age of 18, or I reside. Sorry, I lied. This is the ones that should not apply to you. If any of these apply to you, you should click this, but for most of you, this should not apply. Most of you are enrolled in a college program here. I'm assuming all of you are. Most of you are probably 18, and if you reside outside of the United States or not, that's the options you have there. I do not wish to receive information from other people's products. If you want them to email you about other products they have for sale or services that may be useful to you, feel free to click this. As we know, we get plenty of emails during this time, so I'm going to leave it blank. I guess it doesn't matter since it's a fake email. But let's create our account. So we've got everything set up. We'll hit create account. And it'll make an account here. Now, here's where some of you who've emailed me already were trapped. You have some options here, though. So, use an access code. If you went to the bookstore, they would have given you maybe about yay big piece of cardboard that when you open it up had like a lottery ticket scratch off area in the middle of it that had a really long code inside of it. That's your prepaid access code. If you went to the bookstore, you would click here. You already have the access code. Now, maybe you didn't want to go to the bookstore. Maybe you couldn't go to the bookstore. You have some other options. Another option is to pay using a credit card or PayPal, and you have two different options here. The first option is $104.99, and that buys you access to the book for life. You can use the book for the remainder of time. This is useful if you plan on taking other math courses here at North Country Community College. Now, this is for the Math 100 book, the Lyle Hornsby McGinnis Introductory and Intermediate Algebra Math 100 book. If you're in pre-algebra or you're in statistics, you might see a slightly different price. Just keep in mind that all the same information applies, just the number I said would be different, right? So you can buy the book for life, or you can buy the book for 18 weeks. This gives you only 18 weeks worth of access from when you start the trial. So keep that in mind. You have either option. You can either buy lifetime access or 18-week access. It's up to you which you want. Just keep in mind, if you buy 18-week access and then need the book outside of that 18-week period, for example, let's say in the spring semester, you go to take a math class that uses the same book, you'd have to buy the book again because you only had 18 weeks worth of access. It will close out on you. But if this is the only math class you need to take, then 18 weeks will be plenty of access for you. So it'll be your own decision which one suits your needs best. But feel free to pick whichever one you need. Now, let's say you're still working out funds, and within the next 14 days, you will have access to funds to afford the book. You can also buy temporary access without payment for the first 14 days. So this can work if you're waiting for financial aid to go through, or maybe, paydays on Thursday, things like that. Feel free to use this option. Just remember that you will have to pay by September 11th, 2020, it says here for me, because I'm making the video here Friday, August 28th. So I'm going to click that because I already own the book. I don't need to re-buy the book again. So I'll use temporary access for 14 days. And it says, are you sure you want temporary access to Math 100? Let me know. And I could click yes here, and it'll load me up. And it'll process my order. It might take just a moment, it says, though. So let's see what it does. And then it says you're done. You have temporary access to your online course for 14 days. Use an access code, credit card, or PayPal before the deadline to stay in your course. Make sure you remember to do that. Make sure you remember to upgrade to full access. Otherwise, your grades will be non-existent after that date, right? Because your account will go away. So make sure you do upgrade before the end. Just to make sure, it should say your course taught by, and it should say me here, Marcus Painter. If it doesn't, let me know immediately, because something funky happened with the order, and I will gladly work to help you get it fixed out. And it should say course ends on December 31st, 2020. I just had to pick an arbitrary date that would make sure I have enough time to submit final grades, but wouldn't cause any issues with submitting those. So the course actually ends on the official end date in mid-December there, I believe the 17th. but I just had to pick a arbitrary date after that to make sure I could port all the grades out of here. And then it'll give you account information. Here's my fake email address and username, and it'll give you your account ID. I recommend you write this stuff down, take a screenshot, take a picture with your phone. You can just grab your phone and take a picture of the screen, whatever you want to do. Just make sure that you are in the MyLab Math program, and this should give you full access to the program. So, now that we have access, we can go to the course. So let's head on over to the course. And once again, it's going to load up another new page. And this will be a familiar sight throughout this semester. All of our homework and all of our tests will be done through this program. This will be the program we use to complete all of our assignments. Now, if we look, we've got a few options here, right? It's got a calendar. And if I look through the calendar, like I can scroll through, it puts little dots when things are due. Notice there's a homework right here on September 14th that's due. That's our orientation homework. That's our getting started with things. So now that I'm in the program, I can look at my options. I've got course home, assignments, study plan, gradebook, chapter contents, e-text, student success, workbook with integrated review, tools for success, media library, purchase options, discussions, and course tools. So the most important ones for our course are assignments. That's where everything will be posted for assignments. So make sure you are regularly checking assignments along with our schedule to make sure you're keeping on top of your assignments. The next important part will be the gradebook. That's where you can see your grades. Now, a disclaimer. If you click gradebook, and let's say you missed a homework assignment or two, it doesn't calculate the zeros in your score immediately until I port those grades into Blackboard. So, if you did 1 out of 5 homework assignments and got 100 on it, so you have 4 zeros and 1 100, the program will tell you you have 100% average. That's obviously not true, right? You've only done 1/5 of the work. So make sure you are aware that the score is a little weird, right? The score doesn't automatically factor in zeros until they're ported into Blackboard. I am unsure why that's the default setting for Pearson, but that's what it will do. So just be aware of that. Just be cautious of your score here. Make sure you know that the Blackboard percentage is where the overall score is. But if we look down here where it says there are no results for the selected criteria, this is where it will list all of your assignments out. And it can show you the score, how many you got correct, your time spent, your date started, your date worked. It'll show you all your information you need for your course. So this is where you'll see your grades on your individual assignments. Since I have no assignments right now, there's no information, right? Because there's no homeworks in there yet. But as we complete homeworks, this is where we can check them out. So we've got assignments, gradebook, and e-text. If you want to look at the e-text for our textbook, you click here. This is the last most important part. And then you can click View the e-text for your course. I'm going to click it. It'll pop open a new window. Huh. That's inconvenient. I just clicked it a second time and it worked. I don't know why it glitched out the first time. That's technology for you, right? It'll ask me to agree to a license agreement, terms of use, select my country, United States, English, continue. And now it should load up the e-text. The great thing about an e-text is you can search it. Let's say we're talking about factoring and you can't remember where factoring is. I type in factoring, it's like chapter 6, factoring and applications. Oh, cool. So I can search the textbook. I can also, instantly find a section. If I'm confused on chapter 5, section 3, I can click chapter 5, then go to section 3, and it automatically brings me to that page. And then I can, scroll through the book as needed. I strongly encourage you to use the textbook in tandem with the notes because it'll be useful to have the e-text open. So that's e-text. So I'm going to close out of it. We don't need that for right now. So we've talked about gradebook and e-text. I talked about assignments, but I didn't go into it. So let's click on assignments now. This will be the most important part, so I wanted to save it for last. But in assignments, we've got one assignment already posted. It's a getting started assignment. It's just going to get you used to MyLab Math. I strongly encourage you when you sign up, complete this right away. It shouldn't take you more than a minute or two to walk through it. So let's take a look. I'm going to complete it right here on video with us. So we're going to hit getting started. and it'll pop up. It'll give you the information about the assignment. It's due September 14th at 11:59 p.m. All right, so I've got some time to complete it if I wanted to, but might as well get it out of the way right now, right? I have a 0%. Makes sense. I haven't done it yet. I have 0 points out of 5 attempts. Unlimited per question. Oh, cool. So I can try the questions as many times as I want. And then it says late submission penalty. 30% deducted from questions completed after due date. So if I complete them after the due date, I'm going to get a late penalty. I'm going to do it now so I avoid that, right? I don't want to take points off for being late. So let's start right up with question 1. Seems like a good place to start. It's going to put a little pop-up window, and then it'll load up the question. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to read through these questions and answer them as needed. So I've already done this before, so I'm going to go a little quick through it, but you'll want to take your time and make sure you're doing everything correctly, right? And completing the homework on the orientation. So the first one is getting us used to typing into the answer boxes. A lot of questions might have little boxes that we use to submit our answers. Now notice down here on the bottom of the screen, if I need to type a fraction, this button that looks like a fraction is how I would do it. Mixed numbers, exponents, absolute value, square roots. If I need to type a ordered pair, like I'm talking about graphing, we've got some options for the different answers we can type in. So feel free to utilize them as needed. And then I can hit check answer. Hey, I got it right. And then this question is getting to use. Sometimes questions might ask you to open a pop-up. It might ask you to look at an image or a file. So we'll click here. It pops up a little pop-up here that says the answer is 3. Cool. Let's type in 3. Check answer. Well done. Hey, I got the answer right. I have completed this question. Now, I have an option. Let's say I wanted to practice more. Let's say this question was on graphing, and I really didn't think I got it. I could do similar question, and it will load up a question that's on the same topic. It won't be for credit, but it will be good for practice, right? So if you ever need more practice, you can always use similar question to practice. I think I got the gist of what was going on, so I'll hit the arrow button to go to the next question, right? And it should load up, yep, it's orientation, part 1, question 2. So let's see. I read through it, and it says it wants me to click the smiley face. That one looks like a smiley face. Hey, I did it right. Some questions might be multiple choice. Similarly, I can do a similar question, or I can arrow over to the next question. This question says select all that are true. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 2. No, that's not right. 1 times 1 is 1. Yeah. 2 minus 2 is 1. No. So I think those are all the right ones. Check answer. Hey, got it. Once again, similar question or go to the next. Maybe I want to go to the next. Some questions require drop-down menus. They're kind of multiple choice. In order to get credit for this question, the answer must be correct. Notice it says final check. That's weird. I thought I had unlimited attempts. Would it make sense to give unlimited attempts to a question that has only 2 options? No. Because, you know, if you get it wrong the first time, the second time you're just going to guess the other option. So on multiple choice questions, you will always be limited in your number of attempts, because otherwise you could just guess each answer and never have to think about the question. So for questions multiple choice, make sure you're aware there might be limited times you can check your answer. Hey, I got it right. And then it tabs me over to the last question automatically, and it says I have to solve the equation. 4 plus 1, oh, I think that's 5. Let's check. Well done. Good. And I'm done with the first homework. Oh, sorry. I think I have one more thing to click. So, the last option says to select the answers that are complete. If I look at these answers, look at this one. This blue box is empty. There's nothing in that blue box. I would have to type inside of it. That one's not complete. Same with this one and this one. But this bottom one has a 5 in the blue box. It's already been completed, right? I've typed a 5 into that blue box. So I'll click that one. That answer is complete, and I'll check. And I've got it. And then the question explains it. And now it wants me to type this in here. So I need to type a fraction. I hit the fraction button. It wants me to type, let's see, x squared. I'll hit an x. Oh, I need an exponent. Notice I've got a little exponent button here. I'll hit exponent. Oh, look, it brings up a little box. I'll put 2. That's a little hard to see because it's kind of tiny. On my screen it looks big, but on the video it might be a little bit small. But just make sure you're typing things correctly. So I've got the top part, right? X to the second. I got to get this 3 in the bottom, though. So I'll click the bottom box, put a 3 there. Looks good. Hit check answer. Hey, I got it right. And then I can press continue. It gives me an example of correct versus incorrect. And then it talks about rounding. And then it says, when problems expect multiple answers in a single answer box, the answers must be separated by commas. Some questions might have more than one answer, right? For example, if a question asks, how many whole numbers are smaller than 3? Well, 1 and 2 are both smaller than 3, right? So that would be multiple answers. So let's look. Choose the answer below that has the commas in the correct positions. So this might be hard to read because commas might look small in the video, but you'll just look through and find which one has commas actually between the answers and not randomly off in the wrong places. And it looks like B has them in the correct spot, so let's hit check, and it does. And then it says alternate answers and tolerance. Some questions might have a range of correct answers. This will be especially true if you're in statistics and less true in other classes. Statistics, a lot of questions might have a range of correct answers, whereas questions like solve this equation will only have one correct answer. Statistics might have multiple answers. So this says enter 4, 6, or any number between 4 and 6. I'm personally a fan of 5.117654. So let's check that answer. Hey, it was between 4 and 6, so it worked. And then it says question is complete. If I wanted to practice that one again, I could hit similar question. Or, since I notice I've done 5 out of 5 questions, I can finish. Notice there's no more arrow to tab to the next question. So I can hit save my work up here. And it closes it out. And if I look, my current score, 100%. Awesome. I got 100 on my orientation homework. So that'll be your first homework, and you'll want to make sure you get that done as soon as you sign into the MyLab Math. Like I said, it shouldn't take you very long to churn through it. It's basically just trying to get you used to the program itself. And hit OK. So that's the MyLab Math program. So we can do our first homework assignment, getting started. When we meet next week on Monday and or Tuesday, depending on which class you're in, we will talk a little bit more about actual homework assignments that aren't just an orientation, and we'll actually dive into our first assignments on the following class. The Wednesday I'll be uploading the first homework assignment for each section. So make sure you're ready and willing to go with everything you need to have done. So we got our first homework done. Notice I can see my score over here. Doing pretty good so far. Got 100% on my homework average. It'll put things like time limits and attempts here. That'll be important for tests. Tests will have a time limit of 2.5 hours, and you'll have 2 attempts to do it. So make sure you're aware of that. Homeworks won't have a time limit other than the due date. They'll be due at a certain time, but you can take as long as you need on the homework because that's practice, right? I want you to have as much time as you need to finish the homework. And attempts, if there's a limited number of attempts on an assignment, it'll let you know here. And that's the MyLab Math sign up and program. If you have any questions from this video, feel free to shoot me an email or wait till Monday or Tuesday when we have our first meeting time and we will discuss it. I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you again.